Here we go. I know it's late. Not the normal time of day that I usually do this, but that's okay. We're still in the 30-day challenge of reading the New Testament, the whole New Testament in 30 days. So even though it's late in the day, I'm going ahead with it. This is something that the Lord has asked me to do, and I'm going to complete it. Better late than never, right? All right, where we are starting is Matthew chapter 20. I'm going to start reading just at verse 1, and we will go as far as we can get. Forward we shall go. Stuff happens in life. I'm actually coming to you tonight from Mississippi, not my home state, not normally where I'm at, on a mission, doing a God said. It's been a busy day. It's kind of a tiring day. Been an emotional day. Smack in the middle of town, and it's kind of loud, and that's okay. Here we go. All right, Matthew chapter 20. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is a householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. Again, he went out about the 6th and 9th hour, and did likewise. And about the 11th hour, this verse is key. I love this. And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all the day idle? They say unto him, Because no man has hired us. Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, Call the laborers, and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house, saying, These last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which has borne the burden and the heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Did not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I will give unto this last even as unto thee. Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil, because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. I absolutely love this story. And yes, this is Matthew 20, where we started reading tonight. And for those of y'all that are just joining, it is we're reading through the New Testament, the whole New Testament in 30 days. That's the challenge. That's what we're doing. That's how we're empowering ourselves this month, getting the word in. We are adopted into this family, even though, what if we come in at the 11th hour? We are no less in his eyes than if we had come in at the 3rd hour, the 6th hour, the 9th hour. We're still his. I absolutely love this story. He loves us that much. They all got paid a penny. We all get the reward of heaven. We all get the reward of his love. It's wonderful. All right, 11th hour or not. All right. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed unto the chief priests and unto the scribes, and they shall condemn him to death, and shall deliver him to the Gentiles to mock, and to scourge, and to crucify him, and the third day he shall rise again. Then God's timing is everything. He knows right where we are, and he knows right then what we need. If this is just for you, it's worth it. It's worth it. You are worth it. All right? Verse 20 says this. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. Oh, give me just a second. I have got to answer that text. He is worried about me to make sure I made it here. All right. Thank you for your patience. Awesome. All right, here we go. All right, let's back up a little bit. Jesus answered and said, because this mother of Zebedee's children wants this certain thing and says, well, grant that my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left, in thy kingdom. But Jesus answered and said, Ye know not what you ask. And this is a really big question here. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, We are able. We are able. They don't even know what they're answering to. They don't even realize. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with, but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. But Jesus called them unto him and said, Ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. For many, not money. And as they departed from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men sitting by the wayside, when they heard that Jesus passed by, cried out, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And the multitude rebuked them, because they should hold their peace. But they cried the more, saying, Have mercy on us, O Lord, thou Son of David. And Jesus stood still and called them and said, What will ye that I shall do unto you? They say unto him, Lord, that our eyes may be opened. What a great thing to ask, Lord, that our eyes may be opened. So Jesus had compassion on them. So many scriptures we've read lately have said that same thing. Jesus had compassion on them and touched their eyes, and immediately their eyes received sight, and they followed him. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem and were come to Bethphage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent Jesus 2 disciples, saying unto them, Go into the village over against you, and straightway you shall find an ass tied and a colt with her. Loose them and bring them unto me. And if any man say aught unto you, you shall say, The Lord hath need of them, and straightway he will send them. God will take care of everything. He will go before us. He will go before us. If we will do what he needs us to do, if we will answer his call, his prompting, he'll take care of all the details. All this was done that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, Tell ye the daughter of Zion, behold, thy king cometh unto thee, meek and sitting upon an ass, and a colt of the foal of an ass. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded them, and brought the ass and the colt, and put on them their clothes, and set him thereon. And a very great multitude spread their garments in the way. Others cut down branches from the trees and strawed them in the way. They're making a way. They're preparing a way for him. And the multitudes that went before and that followed cried, saying, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest. And when he was come into Jerusalem, all the city was moved, saying, Who is this? And the multitude said, This is Jesus, the prophet of Nazareth of Galilee. And Jesus went into the temple of God and cast out all them that sold and bought in the temple, and overthrew the tables of the money changers and the seats of them that sold doves, and said unto them, It is written, My house shall be called the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. They weren't doing it appropriately. They weren't doing it in an honorable way. And the blind and the lame came to him in the temple, and he healed them, which is it's what the house of God is for. It's what the gospel is for. And when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonderful things that he did, and the children sang in the temple and saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were sore displeased, and said unto him, Hearest thou what these say? And Jesus said unto them, Yea, have ye never read, Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings thou hast perfected praise? And he left them, and went out of the city into Bethany, and he lodged there. Now, in the morning, as he returned into the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it and found nothing thereon, but leaves only. And he said unto it, Let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, How soon is the fig tree withered away? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Verily I say unto you, if ye have faith, and doubt not, you shall not only do this, which is done to the fig tree, but also, if you say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all the things whatsoever ye ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive. It's one thing to just pray. It's another thing to pray believing that you're going to get an answer to it, believing that you're going to receive what you're praying for. And when he was come into the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him, and he was teaching and saying, By what authority doest thou these things? And who gave thee this authority? And Jesus answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The baptism of John, whence was it? From heaven or of men? And they reasoned within themselves, saying, If we shall say from heaven, he will say unto us, Why did you not then believe him? But if we say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And they answered Jesus and said, We cannot tell. And he said unto them, Neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. But what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented, and he went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. Whether of them twain did the will of his father? They say unto him, the first. Jesus said unto them, verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of God before you. There's some more sugarcoating, how he puts it so nicely, doesn't he? He's point blank. He is not afraid of offending them. He is point blank. For John came unto you, he continues talking, for John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and you believed him not. But the publicans and the harlots believed him. And ye, when you had seen it, repented not afterward, that you might believe him. Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard, and hedged it round about, and digged a winepress in it, and built a tower, and let it out to husbandmen, and went into a far country. And when the time of the fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen, that they might receive the fruits of it. And the husbandman took his servants, and beat one, and killed another, and stoned another. Nice guy. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did unto them likewise. But last of all, he sent unto them his son, saying, they will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto these husbandmen? They say unto him, this is their answer, he will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their season. Jesus saith unto them, Did ye never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner? This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore I say unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. And whosoever shall fall on the stone shall be broken, but on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parables, they perceived that he spake of them. But when they sought to lay hands on him, and I don't think that was in a nice, prayerful way, when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude, because they took him for a prophet. And Jesus answered, and then we go into chapter 22. And Jesus answered and spake into them again by parables, and said, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all these things are ready. Come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully, and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies, and destroyed those murderers, and burned up their city. Then saith he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together all, as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to the servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. How many times in all these chapters have we read where the Pharisees came and tried to catch him up in something? The religious folks. And they sent him out unto him, their disciples, with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of God in truth, neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar, or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, you hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, Whose is this image and superscription? They say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith he unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him, and went their way. The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, If a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise the second also, and the third unto the 7th, and last of all the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. This is not something we see in our culture these days. Jesus answered and said unto them, You do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry, nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob? God is not the God of the dead, but of the living. And when the multitude heard this, they were astonished at his doctrine. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him, saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, and this one we need to know, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these 2 commandments hang all the law and the prophets. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, The son of David. He saith unto them, How then does David in spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on the right hand till I make thine enemies my footstool. If David then call him Lord, how is he his son? And no man was able to answer him a word. Neither durst any man from that day forward ask him any more questions. They stopped asking him questions because they couldn't hang him up in anything. They weren't asking questions to learn. They were asking questions to try to get him in trouble, to try to get him stopped. Chapter 23. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and they do not. They say and they do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge their borders of their garments, and love the uppermost rooms at feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets, and to be called of men, Rabbi, Rabbi. But be not ye called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ, and all ye are brethren. And call no man your father upon earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. But he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's what Jesus did. And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted. But woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men. For ye neither go in yourselves, neither suffer ye them that are entering to go in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. And then he keeps going. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold, more the child of hell than yourselves. And yet again he keeps going. Woe unto you, you blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing. But whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater, the gold or the temple that sanctifieth the gold? And whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing. But whosoever sweareth by the gift that is upon it, he is guilty. Ye fools and blind. For whether is greater, the gift or the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whoso therefore shall swear by the altar, sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whoso shall swear by the temple, sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven, sweareth by the throne of God, and by him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. You blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Wow, don't we see that today? We so see that today. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Again, Jesus did not sugarcoat the truth. He didn't water it down. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! Because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore, ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers, you serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them you shall kill and crucify, some of them shall you scourge with your synagogues and persecute them from city to city, that upon you may come all the righteous, bloodshed upon the earth, from the blood of the righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and you would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth, till you shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, shall ye not see these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things may come to pass, but the end is not yet come. For nation shall rise up against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel is the kingdom. This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then, if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great things and wonders, great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore it shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth, and behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise, when you shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and took them all away, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Then shall two be in the field, and one shall be taken, the other left. Then shall two be in the field. I went backwards. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, the one shall be taken and the other left. Watch therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the goodman of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. When then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his Lord hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming, and shall be made to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink with the drunken, the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of, and shall cut him asunder and disappoint him, and shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. This is intense, isn't it? All right. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. This is about being prepared for when he comes back. They half did the job. You got your lamp, but you got no oil to put in it. How long's your lamp going to work? But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. You have to be prepared. You have to take care of yourself. You have to do the work yourself. And I love how this points that out, that you can't just go too far and then yourself not be prepared for someone else that wasn't prepared. We ourselves have to be prepared. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody in that day is going to be able to fix what we didn't get prepared. And while they went out to buy, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. There's a deadline. There's a cutting off point. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. That is not where we want to be. I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, and to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them 5 other talents. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. After a long time the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoned with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents, and behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things, I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. That's where we want to be, right there. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest me unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 others beside them. His Lord said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of the Lord. Just like when we read before, the ones that came in the 11th hour. He said the same thing to them. The same thing. How do I prepare? Great question. We need to prepare by being in relationship with him. That's where this is all at. This is where, if we have to start over, if we repent, if we, if we just have to stop and say, Lord, I haven't been doing this your way. I haven't been doing this at all. And he draws us. This Holy Spirit will draw us. And when the Lord draws us, it's then that we need to say yes. And if we've done that, then we need to seek him more and more and more. Spend time with him. This is relationship. It's not just, it's not routine. It's not, boxes that we check off. This is about growing our relationship with him. And the more we get to know him, the closer to him we're going to be. And he said, be holy as I am holy, but he teaches us all along how to do that. And if we will just listen to that still small voice, he will step us into the place we need to be. He will take out the bad. He will put in the good. He will heal the hurts. If we believe him, if we can just reach for him, he will meet us right there where we are. All that is part of preparation. It's symbolic, the whole thing with the lamps, but relationship is where it's at. And prayer, there's no perfect prayer. There's no, I spoke on that the other day, that it doesn't have to be King James Version prayers. We don't just start and go, oh, well, these and thous and all this. And, you don't have to quote scriptures. You don't have to know where it is. You may just say, God, help me. And that's enough. Whatever it is we need to do. We talk a lot about vulnerability. Sometimes we have to just lay it out there. Tell him. Just tell him. It doesn't matter how long it's been. If you cry out to him, if you stop and talk to him, even if you don't feel like you get an answer, rest assured, he heard you. He hears every single thing we say. He knows what we need before we even ask for it, but he still wants us to come to him. It's like if you and I were in a relationship of some sort, if we were a friendship or whatever, I want to hear from you. That's what prayer is. It's communication. It's a conversation. We're just talking. And if it's been a while, pick up the phone. you know, that line, that direct contact with him, that's prayer. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can stumble through it. Doesn't matter. You just be real. Be you. That's all you have to do. He wants to hear from you. Whether you're in a happy place, whether you're in a hard place, whether you're in a sad place, a place of desperation, a place of I just don't know what to do, that's when you just seek him. Look for him and you will find him. There's a scripture that says, draw nigh unto me and I will draw nigh unto you. All that means is you try to get close to me, I'll be right there. That's what he says. He'll be close to you. Just know he'll hear you. And then you'll start seeing that you'll just, the more you do it, like if you and I were in a friendship, the more we talk, the more we get to know each other. The more you talk to him, the more you'll get to know him. Just start anywhere you can. That's how we prepare. Just, and get in the word. Just like we're doing right now, we're just reading the word and it'll come alive. And that's what he does is this, I always say this is like his love letters to me, because you can look at it as a book of a guidebook of regulations if you want, but that's not very personal, and this is a personal savior. This is a personal relationship. And I would rather look at it as, because what it is to me is this Bible is how to do it the way he wants us to, not because he wants to control us, not because he wants to limit us, but he wants to show us the best way for us to protect us. That's why he's written it. He does guide us. And once we learn to listen to him in that still small voice we hear, and we'll learn that. You just learn it as you go. You'll know when it's him. That reassurance, you can just feel it. You can feel his presence and you'll know. And the more you listen and the more you do what he says, the closer to him you'll get. He's right there waiting with open arms to welcome you. Absolutely. All right. Then, okay, I think we're in chapter 25, verse 24. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee, that thou art a hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and them at my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents. For unto every one that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance, but from him that hath not shall be taken away even that which he hath. And cast it, ye the unprofitable servant, into outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I'm going to say this, as far as the talents, yes, they're talking about money. That's what this is about. A talent was an amount of money. But if we take it with the literal word talent now, whatever gift or skill that God has given you, I am a firm believer in it. It is whatever, it could be different. It doesn't have to be preaching. It doesn't have to be singing. It doesn't have to be, it's whatever it is. It could be kindness. It could be, taking care of others. It could be hospitality. It could be anything. But I will say this, that the talents themselves, like my particular thing was singing and teaching and preaching and things like that. But even the singing, when I didn't do it, even though he had given me that talent, when I didn't use it, I didn't get anything further. But when I did use it, even though it wasn't perfect, I just got out there and tried to do the best that I could. It started like with, I offered to play piano at a church when they had lost their praise and worship leader. Now, I was rusty at it. I wasn't great, but No one is perfect. I'm going to say that. But I offered what skills I had. And our words, we've got to be very careful of our words, because I was offering, no one else knew how to play music. They had nothing. So I was offering what I did have, even though I said it may not be perfect, but I'm willing to try. The pastor's wife at that point, and maybe I shouldn't tell this, but the pastor's wife at this point said, oh, well, it doesn't have to be perfect, or we don't want it to be perfect, or something like that. And then she turned around and sat there for a minute, kind of laughed and said, well, yeah, really we do. And I was like, let's be careful of our words, because she didn't really sound like she was teasing. And then that made me more self-conscious about getting up there and trying. We need to encourage each other. We need to uplift each other. If somebody is trying and offering a service or a talent or a skill and wanting to help, wanting to serve, we need to let them in a very positive way, not cut them down or make them feel like they have to be perfect. Especially if they're just getting started. But once I started using them, once I started singing all the time, once I started playing all the time, once I started really getting involved, then God really gave me more, like songwriting and things. The more that we do step out for Him and use our talents for Him, the more that He gives us. And that's kind of what those talents are. Just as an example, to me, that's another way of looking at this that we are talking about. All right. When the Son of Man, verse 31, shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was a hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hungered and fed thee, or thirsty and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you have done it unto me. If you stop and think how we treat each other, he says the least of these. What about that person that you smiled at, you held the door open for, you didn't think nothing of it? But he says, if you did it to the least of these, you did it unto me. When you think about that, if you're working for the Lord just by doing something nice, but let me tell you this, there's not much niceness in the world today. There's not much kindness. There's very little love. There's just very little love. And I think about that. And if that works for the good, it works for the bad too. What if you had slammed the door in somebody's face and just laughed, even though you knew they were right behind you? Then have you done that to him as well? He sees everything. He knows everything. Everything we do, he's aware of it. Then shall ye also say to them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Here's the backside of that. For I was hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick, and in prison, and you visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, When saw we thee a hungered or athirst, a stranger or naked or sick or in prison, and did not minister to thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, insomuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me. There's our answer right there. Same thing, whether it be good, whether it be bad. He's saying the same thing. Has the same effect. And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal. This is good stuff. You know, I saw this today. We don't think about what we're doing and how it reflects. Like I told you, I'm away from home today. I'm out on the road. Excuse me. I came to see a friend. It's been about 6 months since I saw this friend. They're going through some issues, and so sorry, I'm sneezing. So I came to see this friend, and instantly this person is like just so what in the world? So taken back, excuse me, I just got the sneezes. So taken back that I had done this. We never know how much we need each other. But immediately, here I am here to pour into him. And he's immediately pouring into me. What can I get you? Where are you staying? Let me take you out to eat. Just so grateful. So pouring, just making me this big deal. And I'm like, stop. You don't have to do anything like that for me. But that's how it is in the kingdom. And we don't think about we're doing it to him if we're doing it to the least of them. He didn't have to do anything for me, but he felt the same thing, that I didn't have to. He was just so surprised that I had done that. And that's sad to me, that there's not enough kindness in the world. There's not enough true friendships in the world. And we forget how others are feeling. We got to be very attentive. And this one really kind of brings it to light for me. It's important. It's important what we can share with others. 26. And it came to pass, when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto the disciples, You know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. Then assembled together the chief priests and the scribes and the elders of the people unto the palace of the high priest, who was called Caiaphas. I can't even imagine this feeling of knowing you have 2 days and this is going to happen. Jesus was God in the flesh, yes. But he was man. He was in the flesh too. In this body of a man with emotions, feelings, and everything. So to know that was fixing to happen, what he must have felt. And consulted that they might take Jesus by subtlety and kill him. But they said, Not on the feast day, lest there be an uproar among the people. So they're strategizing here. They're making the plan. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman. Love this story. There came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. So he's sitting there eating, and she does this. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? Perspective. To her, This was everything. To him, to Jesus, this was huge because he knew what it meant to her. He knew what was taking place. To the disciples, they thought it was foolishness. For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye this woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me you have not always. He's bringing back into the obvious. He's like, it comes back to him. We can't do anything. He needs to be of utmost importance here. For in that she has poured this ointment on my body, he explains why. She did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman, what this woman has done, be told for a memorial of her. Anywhere the gospel is preached, this needs to be told too. That's what he said. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, here we go, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, What will you give me? And I will deliver him unto you. Right there, sold him out. What can I get out of it? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time, he sought opportunity to betray him. The plan is made. Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master saith, My time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house with thy disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Get my page to turn. Now, when the even was come, he sat down with the 12. And as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Now see, this is the first the disciples have heard about it. Judas already knows what he's done. He's already done it. And they were exceeding sorrowful, and began every one of them to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? Which just blows my mind. I guess he's just going along with it, like nobody else is going to know, and he thinks Jesus doesn't know. Why would you even pose the question when you know you're guilty? Judas knew what he had done. Master, is it I? As though he's so innocent. Innocent he is not. And Jesus said unto him, Thou hast said. Like, dude, you said it. I don't mean that disrespectfully, but... And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, Take, eat. This is my body. Now this is where we're getting into that scripture that is many times used as communion. When we do communion as, symbolically of same thing as is instructed here. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. And when they had sung a hymn, do you ever wonder on stuff like that? Then they had sung a hymn, because they don't put what the hymn was. Makes you wonder, what were the words to it? Was it something they already knew? I mean, it was a hymn, so it just, what hymn did they use? What words were sung? It makes me wonder the details, And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. He's not talking about sheep. He's talking about them. His sheep. He's the shepherd. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. All right, he's telling them what's going to happen. Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Peter always means well, but he misspeaks a lot, and he gets ahead of him a lot. He's very gung-ho, and the Lord will use that, but it's like he's a little rough around the edges. But he means well. He's passionate, and I love that. He's bold. And Jesus said unto him, here's his answer, verily, I say unto thee, that this night, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me twice. Like, literally 3 times you're going to deny me before the rooster crows. All right. Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise, also said all the disciples. They're like, no way. That is not going to happen. We will not deny you. They love him. They're followers of him. They're with him every day. There's friendship. There's relationship here. They're like, no, that'll never happen. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here, while I go and pray yonder. Just take a seat. Wait for me here. I'm going to go pray. And he took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry here and watch with me. He literally said what was going to happen, like how burdened he was, even unto death. He literally told them. I don't know if they didn't believe it. I don't think they realized the impact of what was truly fixing to happen. Watch with me, like guard for me, watch with me. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed. Now this is an example too. Fell on his face and prayed. When was the last time you fell on your face and prayed? I mean, like really, really cried out to God. Saying, oh my Father, this is Jesus praying. If it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. He's like, as this comes by, I don't want a taste of this. I don't want to do this. There's nothing wrong with him saying that. He's like, he knew what was coming. Why would he want to do that? He didn't. But he wanted to do his Father's will. He wanted to do God's will. So that's why he said, your will be done, not mine. He's submitting to God. He's giving in to what is right, what has got to happen. And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them watching? No. Asleep. They sat there and fell asleep. They're not watching at all. And saith unto Peter, what? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? And just for starters, let me say this. Jesus has been praying an hour. And he comes back, checks with the disciples, and goes back. So we're already an hour into this. And he says again, watch and pray. Like, back me up, pray. But he says, pray for them, for their good, that ye not enter into temptation. And this is key. The spirit is willing. You who said, no, I will not betray you. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, oh, my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. Again, he just turns it over to the Father. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. It's like that moment when you just can't stay awake. And he left them and went away again. It doesn't even say he woke them up this time. He just left them and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to the disciples and saith unto them, sleep on now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hand of sinners. Keep in mind, it was the religious folks that did this to him. Is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doth betray me. He knew he was there. He knew this was happening. He knew it was time. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now, if that's not clear, that's like the church coming after him. All right. Now, he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, here's how they knew which one was Jesus. This is the sign that he gave. Whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he. Hold him fast. And I'm going to say it's the culture in the day to, kiss. Greet each other with a holy kiss. And that's biblical. Greet one another with a holy kiss. There's a closeness of the brethren. There's a closeness of believers. It's not a romantic thing. It's a holy, innocent, pure thing. It's a love thing. And forthwith, he came to Jesus and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. Such an intimate betrayal. I'm going to call you Master. I'm going to greet you with a holy kiss, laced with the poison of betrayal. How hurtful. And Jesus said unto him, listen to what he calls him, friend. That had to sting a bit. Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Jesus and took him. It doesn't tell Judas's answer to his question. I don't know if that's because they swept in and got him, or if because he stood there dumbfounded. Friend, why have you come? What could you say? And behold, one of them, which were with Jesus, stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priests and smote off his ear. In one of the other books, I believe that would be Peter, the one who always just jumps in there, thinking he's doing the right thing. Then Jesus said unto him, Put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. Thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? He's like, do you not know my power? All this time, do you not know my power? That if I wanted to stop this, I would stop it. But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled that it must be. It's like this has got to happen. In that same hour, said Jesus to the multitudes, are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and you laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Every scripture of the prophets will be fulfilled, has been fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him. All the disciples forsook him, just like that, and fled. Every one of the disciples that said, no, 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 I will not betray thee. Gone. They just vaporized. And they that had laid hold on Jesus, led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. There they were waiting for him. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. It just got very real. Peter didn't act like he knew him, but he loved him enough that he couldn't stay away. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death. False witness. But found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God, and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose, and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Jesus held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said unto them, thou hast said. Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Then the high priest rent his clothes, saying, he hath spoken blasphemy. What further need have we of witnesses? Behold, now ye have heard the blasphemy. What think ye? They answered and said, he is guilty of death. Right there. Everything. Just right there. Throwing the book at him. Then did they spit in his face and buffeted him, and others smote him with the palms of their hands. This just got ugly in a hurry. Judge, witnesses, jury, all of it, all right in one. And then it just turns violent. Saying, prophesy unto us, thou Christ. Who is he that smote thee? Now they're just making fun, being hateful. Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, thou also was with Jesus of Galilee. You were with him. That's what she's saying. You were with him. But he denied them. He denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. There's the first time. And when he was gone out unto the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto them that were with them, this fellow was also with Jesus of Nazareth. And again he denied an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while, there's 2, came unto him they that stood by, and said to Peter, surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech betrayeth thee. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the words of Jesus, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly. How sad. Oh, can you imagine how he felt? He just did it. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And when they had bound him, they led him away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. Then Judas, which had betrayed him, when he saw that he was condemned, repented himself and brought again the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders. What did he think was going to happen? You know? Saying, I have sinned, and that I have betrayed the innocent blood. And they said, what is that to us? See thou to that. And he cast down the pieces of silver in the temple, and departed, and went and hanged himself. And the chief priest took the silver pieces and said, it is not lawful for to be put them into the treasury, because it is the price of blood. And they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field to bury strangers in. Wherefore that field was called the field of blood unto this day. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying, and they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him that was valued, whom they of the children of Israel did value, and gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord appointed me. And Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, saying, art thou the King of the Jews? And Jesus said unto him, thou sayest. And when he was accused of the chief priests and elders, he answered nothing. Then said Pilate unto him, hearest thou not how many things they witness against thee? And he answered him to never a word, insomuch that the governor marveled greatly. Now at that feast the governor was wont to release unto the people a prisoner whom they would. And they had then a notable prisoner called Barabbas. Therefore when they were gathered together, Pilate said unto them, whom will you that I release unto you, Barabbas or Jesus, which is called the Christ? For he knew that for envy they had delivered him. He knew he wasn't guilty. He knew they envied him. So that's why they delivered him up and falsely accused him. Pilate knew that. When he was sat down on the judgment seat, he's trying to let him have a chance here. He's trying to release him. His wife said and sent unto him, saying, have thou nothing to do with that just man, for I have suffered many things this day in a dream because of him. But the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. The governor answered and said unto them, whether of the twain will ye that I release unto you? They said, Barabbas. Pilate saith unto them, what shall I do then with Jesus, which is called Christ? They all say unto him, let him be crucified. And the governor said, why? What evil has he done? But they cried out all the more, saying, let him be crucified. When Pilate saw that he could prevail nothing, but that rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Like y'all do it. I'm not doing this. I'm not having a part in this. I'm not taking part in this. Y'all do it. This is an innocent man. That's what Pilate is saying right there. He's like, I'm not doing it. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be upon us and on our children. I just, to even not only curse yourselves, but curse your children. That's horrible. Then released he Barabbas unto them. And when he had scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the common hall and gathered unto him the whole band of soldiers. And they stripped him and put on him a scarlet robe. And when they had plaited a crown of thorns, they put it upon his head, and a reed in his right hand. And they bowed the knee before him and mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews. Awful. And they spit upon him and took the reed and smote him on the head. And after that they had mocked him, they took the robe off from him and put his own raiment on him and led him away to crucify him. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. Him they compelled to bear his cross. And when they were come unto a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he wouldn't drink it. And they crucified him, and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled which is spoken by the prophet, they parted my garments among them, and upon my vesture did they cast lots. And sitting down, they watched him there, and set up over his head his accusation written, This is Jesus, the King of the Jews. Then were there two thieves crucified with him, one on the right hand and one on the left. And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads. Which reviled him, again, just means subjected him to verbal abuse. They're mouthing him. And saying, Thou that destroyed the temple and build it up in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the Son of God, come down from the cross. Likewise, all the chief priests, mocking him with the scribes and elders, said, He saved others, himself he cannot save. If he be the King of Israel, let him now come down from the cross, and we will believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him. For he said, I am the Son of God. And of course he could have, but that wasn't God's will. He had that power and authority. The thieves also, which were crucified with him, cast the same in his teeth. Now, from the 6th hour, there was darkness over all the land unto the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour, Jesus cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Of course, I do not speak that language. That is to say, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, This man calleth for Elias. And straightway one of them ran and took a sponge and filled it with vinegar and put it on a reed and gave him to drink. The rest said, Let be. Let us see whether Elias will come to save him. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. That's when he died. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from the top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. This is like huge. It's hard to envision what all really happened right there. I mean, the words just seem so small compared to what really happened. And the graves were open. Listen, y'all. And many bodies of the saints, which slept, arose. Yeah. And came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the holy city and appeared unto many. Now, when the centurion and they that were with him, watching Jesus, saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God. Now they're catching on. And many women, which were beholding far off, which followed Jesus from Galilee, ministering unto him, among which was Mary Magdalene, and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of Zebedee's children. When the even was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea, named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciple. He went to Pilate and begged the body of Jesus. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth and laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock, and he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now, the next day that followed the day of the preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees came together into Pilate, saying, Sir, we remember that what the deceiver said while he was yet alive. After 3 days, I will rise again. Command, therefore, that the sepulchre be made sure until the 3rd day, lest his disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, He is risen from the dead. So the last error shall be worse than the first. Pilate said unto them, You have a watch, go your way, make it as sure as you can. So they went and made the sepulchre sure, sealing the stone and setting a watch. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn toward the 1st day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. And behold, there was a great earthquake, For the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and became as dead men. And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not, for I know that you seek Jesus, whom was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come, see the place where the Lord lay. I love this. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring word to his disciples. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, All hail. And they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him. Then said Jesus unto them, Be not afraid. Go tell my brethren that they go into Galilee, and there they shall see me. Now when they were going, behold, some of the watch came into the city and showed unto the chief priests all the things that were done. And when they were assembled with the elders and had taken counsel, they gave large money unto the soldiers, saying, Say ye, his disciples came by night and stole him away while we slept. And if this come to the governor's ears, we will persuade him and secure you. So they took the money and did as they were taught. Just telling lies. So they took the money and did as they were taught. And this saying is commonly reported among the Jews until this day. The lie was believed. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Jesus had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him. But some doubted. Then the 11 disciples went away into Galilee, into a mountain where Jesus had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some doubted. And Jesus came and spake unto them, saying, All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. And that's the end of the book of Matthew. All right, we'll take off next time with the book of Mark. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, y'all.